The electricity we enjoy here in Fort Collins is so reliable that we may take it for granted. In fact, the lights come on every time we flip the switch. Hi, I'm Tim McCullough with Fort Collins Utilities.
And I'm Heather Banks with Platte River Power Authority. Together, we partner to deliver electricity to you 99.9% of the time. How do we do that?
The simple act of turning on the lights, booting up computers, or powering businesses is made possible by the consistent hard work of skilled professionals here in Fort Collins and throughout northern Colorado.
It's also because of ongoing investment in the technologies and equipment needed to make and deliver electricity to your home or place of work. Beginning in 1973, the communities of Estes Park, Fort Collins, Longmont, and Loveland got together to plan and develop the sources of energy needed at that time. That's where Platte River came in. We generate and deliver high voltage energy to communities like Fort Collins, much like a farm grows and delivers large amounts of produce to food warehouses and distribution centers. Think of us as the farmers and wholesale suppliers of energy.
And Fort Collins Utilities operates like a grocery store.
Energy is typically generated miles from where we live or work. It's then delivered to a local electric utility through an advanced network of transmission lines, commonly referred to as the grid. The grid is essentially a road system of flowing electricity, crisscrossing our region, reaching all communities via transmission lines like these.
From the transmission grid, Fort Collins Utilities takes over and distributes the electricity to your home or business, completing the journey from source to switch.
In the next few minutes, we'd like to take you on this journey, showing how we generate, transmit, and distribute electricity to you. This is Platte River's Rawhide Energy Station, located north of Fort Collins. It's here where a large portion of our electricity is made and added to our transmission grid. Although the energy needed to feed the grid comes from a wide variety of sources, most have something in common. They are converted from raw materials into electricity, in most cases by turbines and generators. The bigger the generator, the more electricity is made. The mix of energy sources Platte River uses to power our own electric grid in northern Colorado includes coal, wind, hydropower, solar, and small amounts of natural gas and market purchases. Let's take a closer look at each. Most of the electricity used in our northern Colorado communities comes from here, the coal-fired generator at Rawhide Unit 1. It is highly reliable, economical, and one of the most efficient of its kind in the nation. Fuel for this power plant comes from Wyoming's coal-rich Platte River Basin and is delivered on trains that maximize efficiency and minimize environmental impact. With 280 megawatts of generating capacity, Rawhide Unit 1 can power as many as 270,000 residential customers 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, about 95% of the time. In fact, this turbine is one of the most efficient of its kind anywhere. For many years before Rawhide was built, our communities received electricity through hydropower resources owned by the federal government. Today, about a fifth of our energy still comes from electricity produced at a number of hydro facilities in the Rocky Mountain region. But on some days, our customers need more power than coal or even hydro can supply. Or it could just be that we need to do maintenance on our coal unit. When this happens, we can make electricity with natural gas. Combustion turbines like these are essentially large jet engines that turn generators. They can provide a lot of power very quickly. And because they can power up on demand, they can also be used to back up alternative energy when needed. Platte River's mix of renewable energy sources is both well established and growing to meet our future energy needs. Our most abundant renewable energy source today is the wind. Using the same principles as traditional electric generation, wind is captured by large blades that turn a turbine inside a generator to make electricity. With wind power, the more wind turbines you have, the more power you can make. A wind farm with the capacity to produce 225 megawatts of electricity, like the one planned north of Rawhide, will power as many as 100,000 homes each year. In 1998, Platte River became the first energy provider to deliver wind power to Colorado customers. We tripled our wind power capacity in 2014 and will triple it again by 2020. Improved technology has made wind power turbines far more efficient and less costly to build, which makes wind power a better value than ever. Less common but rapidly growing in use, solar generation works by collecting the sun's rays, then converting them into electrons, and ultimately delivering them to the grid. Similar to wind turbines, the more solar panels you have, the more power you can make. Panels on modern solar farms track the sun to capture every bit of power possible. The Rawhide Flats 30 megawatt solar farm, located at the Rawhide Energy Station, generates enough electricity from the sun's rays to power about 6,000 homes for a year, and more solar power is planned. Technology is also improving solar power resources. A rooftop solar system, for example, may currently meet about half the needs of the home on which it is built, and future systems will be even more efficient. Until recently, most of the energy Platte River generated and delivered came from hydro and coal-fired resources. But in 2017 and 2018, about a third of Platte River's energy came from non-carbon sources like solar, wind, and hydro. Looking forward, even more will be added. The Rawhide Energy Station is unique because electricity is produced from coal, gas, and sun, all at this one facility. But that means nothing if we can't get the power to the communities that need it. How do we do that? At the Rawhide Energy Station, we blend together the electricity that we produce in this switching yard. The voltage of the electricity is increased to 230,000 volts, so it can be transmitted long distances without losing much power. As this high voltage electricity travels away from its source, the lines are held up by tall towers that cross ranch lands and farm fields or mountains and rivers before reaching the communities where the electricity is needed. But that's not all. Platte River's grid is connected to an even larger regional grid that in turn is connected to others across the nation. By connecting to other utilities like ours, we can buy energy when we need it, or we can sell it when it's needed by others. When we collaborate with other utility communities and transmission providers, we maintain higher levels of service reliability and lower overall costs to our customers.
The next part of electricity's journey takes place in local communities here in these substations. It's the final step necessary to deliver the energy to your homes and businesses. The first thing we need to do when receiving energy from Platte River is to reduce the voltage to a more manageable level. We do this by running the 230,000 volts of electricity through large transformers at one of our 7 substations. After reducing the voltage to about 13,000 volts, we move the electricity onto our local distribution grid. At this point, energy travels through a number of other critical lines with switches, regulators, fuses, and other components until it reaches your neighborhood or place of work. Then, similar to the city's water system, larger trunk lines are separated into smaller branch lines that travel down streets to bring the energy to where you need it. But before you can use it, we need one more transformer to step the voltage down to the 120 or 240 volts you use every day. You don't want your computer running on anything more. There is one thing about our electric system that is unlike almost any other utility in the nation. More than 99% of our distribution lines are placed underground. But it wasn't always that way. The first power station in Fort Collins delivered service in 1888. And for almost a century, the legacy of electric service was symbolized by the web of overhead wires that lined Fort Collins streets and roads. Then in 1968, all new subdivisions were required to put electricity underground, and by 1972, nearly 40% of the customers had underground power. Why all underground? One of the benefits of our modern system is that we have fewer power outages and no trees to trim compared to other communities, and that's a major cost savings. Keep in mind, because all our lines are below ground and out of view, dig-ins are a leading cause of rare outages. So remember to call ahead before you dig. Ongoing maintenance by light and power crews keep our distribution system safe and running smoothly. Routine inspection and monitoring programs help us prioritize areas of the system that need to be improved or replaced before it fails or causes injury. Whether installing additional service to meet the demands of new growth, or conducting needed maintenance, or answering the call to restore power, our distribution crews are among the best in the country. They are a part of the community and every bit as invested as you.
As we've seen, electricity's journey from generation to long-distance transmission and finally to your local distribution system is a team effort. Platte River Power Authority and Fort Collins Utilities work together to provide customers with highly reliable, environmentally responsible, and financially sustainable energy.
Our source-to-switch collaboration helps to ensure you have all the power you need when you need it.
The truth is that electricity powers our quality of life.
And the way we make it and deliver it to you is getting better every day. Even though you may not see it, every time you flip a switch, we are hard at work to make sure your lights come on. And when you eventually turn them off at night, you can rest easy because we're still on the job and always will be.